Today we're going to talk about our new KickStart Collaborative Lounge series. Okay, first up we're going to take a look at the statement of line for KickStart. You'll see here that it is quite a robust lounge series that we're introducing. Freestanding models as well as modular models. So with the freestanding models, you have the option of low surround or high surround. That adds that extra layer of privacy to an area. And then also pillows can be added as an option to all of the units. You'll see there in the second row some booth options, and we'll go into more detail on that as we move through the training, as well as a unique seating unit there with a nook, has a little storage nook next to the seat. We're going to have bistro tables, similar to what we have today with Isla. And then in our modular models, again, low surround and high surround options are available, as well as benches and ottomans, and then some tables that are going to gang in with the modular pieces. The modular units all are going to include a hidden ganging bracket so that those can be fastened together in a space. Here we have our finish options for the KickStart series. So the tables, tablet arms, and center panels can all be chosen in a hard surface. Center panels also have the option to be upholstered, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we move through the training. Note that all veneer options are going to feature Indiana Furniture's UV Advantage finish, so that's going to make them very durable. And then two metal finishes to choose from. So these are going to be for your legs of all the KickStart units. Aluminum and chrome are the options that we have for that. And then any of the tables are going to feature a square edge profile. Okay, on this slide, we're going to talk about single and contrasting fabric options. So like most of our lounge seating series, you can choose to do just a single upholstery on the entire unit, or you can choose to do contrasting upholstery. So if you look at that unit there on the left, let's just for a moment pretend that the pillows were on that unit. If that were the case, you could put up to 3 different fabrics on that sofa unit. So you could have the low surround fabric, the primary fabric, and then another fabric on your pillows if you so choose. So you can see there on the high surround, it works the same way. And then that small barrel-shaped unit, that we're calling that the poof. And the poof can have primary upholstery on the outer and then an accent upholstery on the top, the part that you actually sit on. And we'll talk a little bit more about that poof here in the next few slides. So just a few things to note about the contrasting upholstery as well as the single upholstery options. On the low surround models, there really isn't any fabric limitations. The only thing that we don't recommend is stripes, and that's just simply because of the curve of the back. Those stripes may not line up properly, and it could look just a little off to your customer. However, on the high surround, there are going to be some fabric limitations. There is a certain amount of stretch that needs to be in that fabric in order for it to go around that large high surround unit. So we have created a list of fabrics that we think will cover most customers, give you a lot of options, and we'll look at that here on the next slide. But if for some reason one of those fabrics is not going to work for your customer, they can submit a COM fabric for approval, and we also have a form for that. I will show that as well here in the next couple slides, but then you will find that form on the last page of the KickStart price list. And these are those fabrics that we are talking about for the high surround. It is the CF Stetson Color Story card. So there are several different fabrics that you can choose from. They're all listed right there across the top of the slide. And then this is just a snapshot of all the colors that are available. So everything really from a very neutral palette to more primary colors will be available for the high surround units. And this is that form that I referred to a couple slides ago that they would need to fill out and send in with a sample if they did not want to choose one of those predetermined fabrics that we have already selected for the high surround units within KickStart. And again, this is located in the last page of the KickStart price list online. Okay, next up, we're going to talk about the power options within KickStart. So you'll see here that the power is a little bit different where it's placed depending upon if it's a freestanding model or if it's a modular model. The freestanding models are going to be on the side of the seat as it's pictured here. And then on the modular models, it's going to be on the front of the seat. And for obvious reasons, if you were to gang two of those modular units together, you want that power to still be accessible. So it really needs to be in the front of the seat. The power units themselves are available in aluminum or black, and they will contain one power outlet and two USB ports. They will be available left or right, and that's when you are facing the unit. So if you look there at those two images on the top, those would both be considered left power. You can put up to two power ports in each model, so you could have a left and a right. The only exception to that is our booths, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few slides. Okay, next up we're going to talk about the power options within tables. So there's a couple different table options within KickStart. First up are the occasional tables, and these are the ones that are going to gang in directly with your modular pieces. So you have inline, end, and corner tables. And the two options for power on those is that ECA Cove, which is the exact same power unit that we're using in the seats. It's going to be available in aluminum and black. It's going to have one power outlet and two USB ports. And you'll see there that they're available in the center location only standard. So showing you where that center location is depending upon the type of table. So with the inline and the end tables, it's going to be sort of in that back corner. And then with the corner tables, it's going to be in the back corner as well. It just looks slightly different just depending upon the shape of those tables. You can also get a charge spot in these occasional tables. So keep that in mind as well. That's very handy for a lot of customers to have that charge spot option. And then down there in the lower section, this is the Media Peninsula. If you're familiar with Canvas, you're familiar with this table. It's basically the same table, just a slightly different size so that there is room for people to get in and out of the booths when this table is installed inside. So with the Media Peninsula, the bezel power units are the option. So the Duo, the Trio, and then again with the charge spot. The Duo and the Trio are available in white, black, and silver. And you have up to 3 different options for power in the Media Peninsula. You can do end, center, or end and center. So depending upon how you specify that, you could have up to 2 units in one table. And then with the Duo bezel, you're going to have 2 power outlets and 2 USB ports. And then with the Trio, you're going to have 3 power outlets, 2 USB ports, and then 1 open space for another type of jack. And then again, that charge spot is available with this particular table. Okay, next up we're going to talk about some of the details of the KickStart series. First up is that leg You've probably noticed on some of the pictures that everything sits up on the leg. That leg is 9 inches tall, and that is included in your dimensions in the price list. It's available in aluminum and chrome, no upcharge for the chrome within the KickStart series. And they are, all the legs will include a non-marring nylon glide. All right, and then let's talk a little bit about the tablet arm. So the tablet arm, just like the power ports, are specified left or right when facing the chair. So you can see there, the left is when you're facing the unit, it is on the left, and the right is the same way. So when a unit is ordered with a tablet arm, it's going to replace that leg. So that's why it's important to make sure that it is specified correctly. So whenever you order a club chair with a left tablet arm, it's going to have 3 of those regular 9-inch legs, and then it's going to have the tablet arm in that front left leg position. So that, and then that finish on the post itself will match whatever finish was selected for the rest of the legs, so chrome or aluminum. The tablet itself is available in TFL, HPL, and veneer. So all of our surface materials are available there, and you can choose the finishes based on that slide that we saw in the beginning. And then tablet arms are available on all models except corner units and half-round benches. So even the ottoman could have a tablet arm if you had a scenario where that was needed. Okay, so here let's talk a little bit more about the freestanding models. So in the low surround, you have a club chair, a settee, and a sofa. And those are going to be just a smidge over 29 inches high. The optional pillow backs are available on all of the models. Again, you can do a tablet arm on any of these models, left and or right. Again, with power ports, left or right. And then if you were going to specify this particular model, you're going to specify a primary upholstery, the low surround upholstery, that's all around the back side of the unit, the leg finish. If the customer wants the pillows, you're going to specify those pillows. If they want a tablet arm, you're going to spec that. And then if they want power, you're going to spec that. So keep in mind that if your customer wants the same upholstery on the primary, low surround, and the pillows, you still have to specify that. You have to tell us that so that we know that they want that same fabric on all of the unit. Okay, next up we have our high surround units. So really very, very similar to the low surround, just a couple of differences. First of all, these are going to be the 49-inch height from floor to the top of the units, 49 inches. That includes that 9-inch leg. Club chair, a settee, and a sofa, just like the low surround. But then in addition to that, we also have a booth settee and a booth sofa. So if you wanted to create a booth with or without a table, and we'll talk a little bit more about that coming up. And then we have that club chair with the nook. So that little nook is just basically it's a little storage box that sits right there next to the seat. On the nook, you can add power. Just keep in mind that it has to be on the upholstered seat side, so it wouldn't be on the nook side. So if you ordered a left nook, then you could order right power. Let's see, the high surround fabrics, again, we're really recommending that they stick to that list or they're going to need COM approval. Same with the tablet arms and the power ports as was with the low surround unit. And then again, to specify these units, it's exactly the same. We need to know the primary upholstery, the high surround upholstery, the leg finish, if they want pillows, tablet arm, and power. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward on how to spec this. Okay, let's take a look at the poof. So we really recommend solid colors as the primary upholstery on the poof. And the reason for that is because it is not it's not completely cylindrical. It has more of a barrel shape to it. So a solid fabric is just going to look a little bit better than anything that has a pattern. That pattern's just not going to line up exactly so, again, because it's more of a barrel shape. Now, with the accent upholstery, the one that can go on the seat of the poof, there are no limitations there. Any fabric can go along the top of the poof. And then just want to point out that the brown leather carry handle is the standard color. Um, you can request a different color, a different material. However, it would need to go through the custom quote process, and it would depend a lot upon quantities as to what kind of additional upcharge you would be looking at for that. So I would really encourage your dealers to stick with that brown leather carry handle. Okay, let's talk about those booths that are an option. This is the first one. This is if you want to create just a small meeting area. This particular scenario with this high surround center panel, you would not be able to use the media peninsula table. We'll show you how that looks on the next slide. But this one's really just going to be a conversation area. You could put a small occasional table in here. You could add some pull-up tables so that there was a surface when people were sitting in their meeting having a conversation. But this really is meant to just be a conversational area. So these are the booth models. These are available in settee and sofa, and they're going to be the same height as the standard settee and sofa, which is that 49 inches high. Again, we're going to recommend that they use those fabrics from that recommendation list for the high surround units. Otherwise, they will need to do the COM approval. And then just want to point out that these booth models are slightly different than just the standard settee and sofa in that they have connectors on one side of them so that high surround center panel can connect in to create that booth, that kind of seamless booth section that you're seeing there. So if you were setting this up, you would need a left side, a right side, and then you would need the center panel to go between them. So something to note is that as you see here, we've been talking about that 9-inch leg. So this panel is just going to connect to that high surround. So there's going to be a 9-inch gap underneath that where that center panel sits. There will be a gap there, and that is intentional. The center panels are available in TFL, veneer, and they can be upholstered as well. So that is an option as well. Okay, so this is the scenario that you would want to use if you wanted to add one of the media peninsula tables. So again, the exact same units. You're going to need a left and you're going to need a right. But then instead of using that 40-inch high center panel, you're going to use the 60-inch high center panel for media table. And that is called out specifically in the price list. So remember I was just talking about how there's going to be that 9-inch gap underneath the center panel in that first scenario? Well, in this one, it's actually going to sit all the way down to the floor. And the reason for that is there's wire management in the back of the media peninsula table. And if that didn't go all the way to the floor, and it was in an open plan area, you would see that wire management in the back of the table, and it wouldn't look as aesthetically nice as we would like it to. So this panel is not only going to set all the way down on the floor, it's also going to be a little bit higher, as you can see here in the image on the bottom. I believe it's going to be about 11 inches higher whenever it's installed. So there will be, and the reason for that is if you were to add the TV stand to the Media Peninsula table, you would want that to be a little bit higher, again, to cover up that TV and the wires and connections that are going to come out of it and are going to run down to the floor. Okay, next up we have our modular models. So very similar in the way that they are going to be specified. You're going to have to tell us all the fabric options that you want, as well as any additional options like tablet arm and PowerPoint. PowerPort. So it's going to be very similar to the way that the freestanding models are going to be specified. The only thing I want to call out one more time is just that PowerPort is going to be on the front of the unit instead of on the side of the unit. And again, that's so you can gang units together and still be able to access that power. And here's a look at the modular high surround units. Basically the exact same thing we've been talking about all along, using that fabric recommendation list for those high surrounds. Okay, next up we have some chaise lounge units. These are unique to the modular units. These will not be available as freestanding, although they certainly could be used in a freestanding application. They are part of the modular section. So just be aware that while they can be used in a freestanding application, they will be able to be used in a ganging application as well. So again, same specifications, same rules apply to these units as to the other units. And then next up, we have our corner units, so available in the low as well as the high surround. Cannot add a tablet arm to the corner units. So those would not be able to have a tablet arm. However, they can have power on both sides of that corner, back towards where the surrounds are. So keep that in mind. You can certainly power those up and offer a lot of power with those. However, just not going to be able to do the tablet arm. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the benches that we have available within KickStart. You see here we have an ottoman, a bench, and then a half round bench. We can do a tablet arm and power on the ottoman and the bench. However, it's not going to be available on that half round. And then another thing to point out is that the half round is intended to cap 2 units that are sitting back to back. So that could be 2 benches. It could be 2 modular club chairs, 2 settees, but basically it's meant to just cap the end of a seating arrangement. Okay, let's take a look at the tables. We have those 3 tables, part of the modular line. So they are all available to be ganged with the modular pieces, available in TFL, HPL, and veneer. And you can see the grain direction is notated here on each of the image. You see how that grain direction will run. Each of them will include ganging hardware, so you're good to go there with getting those right there in line with the other modular pieces. The end table and the corner table are going to ship with the legs unattached, so your installers will need to attach those in the field. And then each of the models is available in 2 sizes. So we have the 18 by 24 and 24 by 24 options. And then we already talked about power, but just as a reminder, you can put the ECA Cove or charge spot in all 3 of these tables, and that's going to be located in that center section. And again, that was notated on that power page several slides back. And then down at the bottom, we have the bistro table. It is also available in TFL, HPL, and veneer. It's going to ship with the mounting hardware, and that'll just need to be field installed to the sofa or the settee that it's being attached to. And that is the only 2 sizes available. So these can be attached to the sofa or the settee. No power options available for the bistro table. However, they can certainly put that into the sofa or the settee unit. And then there is a purse hook that can be added to the underside of that table, and that's going to be available in black. Okay, here we have a little bit of competitive information with some of the competition that we feel like you will see the most with this type of product. So you can certainly use that for your competitive analysis. And then the order information, officially take order on this product is December 2nd, with the first schedule date being the 16th. So we'll schedule any orders that come in on that date. And then shipping out the 10th of January with a 4-week lead time to start. We will reevaluate that certainly on a very regular basis since this product is new and try to improve that lead time as we can throughout the process. But please be patient as this is a brand new product for us. And we appreciate your cooperation. And that concludes the KickStart training. If you have any questions about KickStart, please reach out to your customer service rep or your regional sales manager, and any of them will be happy to answer your questions or help you through your first couple of orders. Thank you very much. Have a great day.